Hey YouTube, what is going on? Carter here. Another video, another night. Awesome stuff. Today when I was doing my first impressions video on the Hinder XM18, which I don't think a lot of people saw. I'm thinking YouTube may have been kind of freaking out at that time because it didn't get a lot of views. But some videos I did after and before that one did. So anyways, it's not the point. Doesn't matter. I'm sure I'll talk about it many more times. But the point of this, and also I've been getting a few questions, and I've got my own opinions, but basically what is a mid-tech knife? Kind of falls in a gray area of what exactly a mid-tech knife is. Personally, I do a by-the-book, black and white kind of interpretation, so to speak. So basically I take the person who invented the term, which was Ken Onion, I take his definition of the word, and that's what I use. But a lot of people kind of push a little bit further into other areas, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about here in a second. So the point of this video is not to say I'm right and this is what it is. The point of the video is to say what I think a mid-tech is, and I'm also curious what you guys think a mid-tech is. Now, Ken Onion basically had a dilemma. He had a knife design that was really popular. A lot of people wanted it, and he found out he could easily outsource some of the work, especially some of the menial work like cutting the blanks and things like that. He could outsource that, bring it back to him. He would finish up the work himself, and it would not only increase turnaround time, but it would also save some money. But he didn't feel right still calling it a custom, a totally 100% Ken Onion creation. He didn't feel right saying that. So he thought, what would be a term that I could use that would kind of signify, yes, I did outsource some stuff. It's not a 100% Ken Onion custom, but I did do most of the work on it myself. So that he came up with the mid-tech term. So to me, that's my definition. That some of the work can be outsourced, but that the majority of the work is still done by the custom maker, the designer. And there is the catch right there. Because a lot of people consider Striders and CRKs and Hinders mid-tech knives, which is fine. And I understand that, because there's not really a term created for knives that are, handmade. But to me, in order to be mid-tech, the handmade work part of it needs to be done by the creator. So in order for me personally to be comfortable calling this a mid-tech knife, Rick would have had to have done a decent amount of work on it. And from what I understand, he doesn't do any work on his production knives anymore. There may be a lot of handwork by employees, but not by him. Same with Strider. There's a lot of handwork done by Strider employees on this. But Mick or Dwayne don't touch this knife. They're doing other things. They're doing their full customs. So I don't consider that a mid-tech. Because to me, a mid-tech needs to have the custom maker's hand on it. He has to have done work on it. For instance, some mid-techs that come to mind. The VECP by Les George. A lot of that work on that knife, or some of that work on that knife, has been outsourced to cut down cost and increase productivity on it. But the work that is done by Les. It's not done by an employee. It's not done by a good buddy. It's done by Les himself, the designer of the knife, the custom maker. Same with his collaboration with Alan Olishewitz. What was that called? I forget what that's called, but they did a little collaboration mid-tech piece, and same deal. What was hand done was done by those guys, not other people. And Alan's done some mid-techs, and once again, he did work on that blade. Whereas CRK, I don't think Chris Reeve, I don't think he does anything in terms of actual work on the knives anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's pretty much retired as far as actually doing things with his hands. I don't know, maybe he does a few things here and there, but I don't think he even does any sort of special releases or anything. Could be wrong on that. But as far as his production blades go, I mean, it's all employees. It's people he's hired and people he's taught, but not him himself. But that's just me. And I understand how people want to call those mid-techs, because they're not the same as, you know, a Kershaw Blast or whatever they've got nowadays, Kershaw Leak or whatever, you know, full production mechanized type stuff. Even though a lot of the times those have a human touch to them, especially in assembly and things like that. But they do, you know, CRKs and Striders, they do have a lot of hands on the knives, making the knives. But it's just, to me, in order to call it a true mid-tech, I need to know that the maker actually did something on that knife. But anyway, so what do you guys think? Just leave a comment. Let me know if you're kind of more in tune with my view on it, or if you just think kind of any sort of knife that has human touch to it, you would consider that a mid-tech. And if you don't consider that a mid-tech, what do you think would be a cool term? Because there's not really a term between the two. You know, there's full production, which is just, you know, people think factory, churning it out, all the pieces machined. And then there's, you know, full-on custom. And then there's my definition of mid-tech, but then there's that gap where it's, you know, a lot of human work done on the knife, not necessarily the custom maker, but still, you know, people he's trained, people he trusts, or she, to work on that blade. There's not really a term for that specifically, so I see why people want to, you know, say everything is a mid-tech within there, because it definitely needs to be separated from your 100% manufactured knives, production knives. So yeah, just leave your comments and stuff. Tell me, hey dude, you're freaking out of line and you're dumb. Or say, hey man, cool, that's awesome. Or don't say anything at all. You know, whatever. It's all good. It's all gravy. Later.